to Melanie Riverside Cemetery BTs. We are at the cemetery finally. It's New Year's, so happy New Year's and happy Christmas from last year as well. I'm hoping for this year I can be out in the cemetery more. I've been dealing with helping out with my family and taking care of my grandma and my family as well. I seriously want to be back out here like once a week, at least trying to clean up some, do some more videos, give you guys more history and who's all in here as well. I'm hoping to get flowers started back up again. I'm just gonna put them aside. I'm just gonna buy $1 and just start planting them for next Christmas. I'll come back out here for this Christmas when it comes around. There's 600 family members buried in here. It will be going on 6 years since I've been caring for the cemetery, trying to keep with the cemetery, but also you cannot forget to thank the other people along the way helping me with the cemetery. I had helpers along the way. I had people believe in me, and I kept going even if I had to do it myself, I would have done the cemetery. But from looking back from 6 years, coming in April, and how the whole cemetery looked, it did not look like this at all. Majority of these headstones were covered. I was disgusted how the cemetery looked, how the journey got started of taking care of the cemetery. Yeah, lived here my whole life and stuff like that. I could tell you pretty much everybody in Riverside that lived here the whole life or came to visit their friends out of town to Riverside and walked past this cemetery every single time, and like when you walked past it you didn't really think of the condition, who was in here and whatnot in the cemetery. And basically when I started doing genealogy and ancestry, we came in here, we met, I was trying to help my boyfriend with their ancestry because they're trying to find their cousin Joe, and I did find him. He came up, we went to Edgewater to go visit his dad and William's uncle, and I went over to the cemetery next to the cemetery because that has my other family in there, which it was kind of pretty hard to find them in one way because I had to ask my mom. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. But we did find them. So when I came back home, I looked on Ancestry, looked to see where the rest of my relatives were buried. So in the cemetery, I have great-grandparents in here. So when we first came up here, oh no, their flag. When we first came up here, they will be putting new flags out here for them. So when I came up here to look for my great-grandparents, and I saw the way the cemetery looked, everything was overgrown. You couldn't see the headstones or nothing, especially the 3 in the front that were standing, the one with the flag over here. These were actually buried and overgrown. You couldn't see them whatsoever, and we didn't know there was 3 headstones underneath there when we're doing the cleanup. Now, so as as we're trying to find my great-grandparents, we actually walked past one of them. Then after the one cleanup, we actually did find them. Then I found out that I had another set in here thanks to Ancestry, not sponsored by them. This headstone was flat down. This was pulled up. Some headstones fell back down. But this is my great-grandparents. This is John W. Casey, Emma Gilbert Emma C. Gilbert, and that's her maiden name. And Casey, this is my great aunt Margaret. She passed away at a very young age, at age 15. So yes, these were the first set of grandparents that we found. I do have a cousin in here that has family members. I met people through Facebook that have family members in the plots as well. And there are people still coming out to the cemetery to honor their loved ones. And I'm glad that the cemetery is now being upkeep and a lot more better keeping. Now we're going to just go this way. This is my cousin's grandparents right here. Now, this is William Mayer and Rosalina and my great uncle Paul. Me and William literally walked right past them. We didn't even know. Then, when we turn around over here, you couldn't see this headstone because the branches were covering it. So the nice neighbors around here actually came out, saw all of that down. And even during the heat wave, I definitely appreciate him as well as everybody that helped along the way. He helped maintain this cemetery too. And we cannot forget about Baby Bunny Mayer, because we came up here and there was a bunny rabbit right here. I named him Baby Mayer. He was laying right in front of my great-grandpa's grave, all curled up, and I didn't know if the rabbit was like passed on because it wasn't breathing, and I had to come out the next day because like I couldn't sleep. I couldn't see the poor thing laying like that, and I was going to bury it next to Mayer, but fortunately we got another neighbor around here, asked him to check out the rabbit because it was still slowly breathing, and when he got near the rabbit took off running. So that's how we got Baby Bunny Mayer. So I don't know where Baby Bunny Mayer is at the moment, but that's our rabbit. Well, it's not like a pet rabbit. It was an outside rabbit. I just wanted to make that clear. It wasn't my rabbit. It was actually rabbits you normally see outside. So I don't know if the rabbit got cold, but I was just glad that the rabbit was still alive. Now my Aunt Sue, her great-grandparents are right here as well. And the baby boy. So we do know like a lot of people that have some families in here. Then we come, like I said, see there's other family members that still come out here and visit and still put stuff. This is another group that I met on Facebook that's their family over here as well. least find some of the loved ones that have relatives in the cemetery and let them know the cemetery is being kept now, taken care of. I'm going to try to be here as best as I can. I made that promise when I first started. This is my fourth great-grandfather, Isaac Laconey. I made that promise in April that I would try to visit up here once a week, and once the summer came around, take care of the cemetery. Even if I had to take care of the cemetery by myself and didn't have no help. But lucky for me, the town that I live in and the people in the town, they actually came out and helped me, and I believe the cemetery wouldn't look this great, and it would have been still like hard for me to upkeep everything by myself. It would have took a longer process. So I can't imagine now, like 6 years ago, the cemetery did not look like this, and it's remarkable and amazing. And I will link the video that I have when I first made a video of the cemetery. And all of this side, I have more videos. Like I said, there are people that fought in the Civil War, part of the American Revolution War. You have Freemasons in here, firefighters. You have a whole bunch of vets in here. You have policemen. This was a whole great community. You had like English people, Germans, Polish. It was a whole bunch of ethnicity from back then in this cemetery. And eventually, as the times went on, this whole neighborhood around this block, I've been told by many of people that this was technically a military housing back then. So we all love our veterans, and veterans in the cemetery living and always right there. We appreciate every single one of them. And then I eventually realized these are the mayors, so they could be like my cousins or uncles as well. And when you see bars like this around any type of cemetery, that is a family plot. So this is a family plot. So these are my great-grandparents from Germany. That's Gadeli Schaefer. I have a hard time pronouncing his name. And Christina, I don't know her, can't know her maiden name, Schaefer. So these were the last great-grandparents that I did find in here. We got them to cut out like, 3 or 2 trees. And it took me a while, I think like 4 or 5 years. And so since this will be 2 years since this tree been cut out, I want to plant a new one in here and take care of it and dedicate it to the cemetery. So this tree is no longer here, and I'm so glad that they took it out, because that tree could have fallen on anybody that was visiting the cemetery that had family, or it could have took out anybody's family's headstones, or like putting a flag up. So I'm grateful that they took out the tree, and I'm just glad that I can be honored to take care of the cemetery. I wouldn't change it for the world. I don't do it because of me. I do it because I have family in here there's other people have family in here, loved ones, and I don't want their family, to be disrespected or them being hurt seeing their family headstone covered in a whole bunch of overgrown stuff. So my heart was in the cemetery, and it's still in the cemetery. My spirit will always remain in here. There's days where I want to be up here all the time. There are days where I just want to keep going, taking care of the cemetery, and just being in here. And I can't picture my life without taking care of the cemetery, and I love it here. And I wish I could meet every single one of them in the cemetery, know their story, know the history, and get to see how they lived back in their day and what would they think of our generation. And my last part I want to leave for you guys. If you guys have a community, any part of your community, even if it's a cemetery or not, and you see something run down, it takes one person to get up and get motivation and say, you'll make a promise. If you're going to walk it and talk it, do it. Stand up. If I can do it, you guys can do it. If you're going to say something and do it, you'll do it. Even if you don't have people behind you, eventually they will start following you, and you can get it started. And you could clean up your community park, make that better. It doesn't have to be in New Jersey. It can be anywhere in the country, any state. You guys have a voice. You guys can stand up, and you have the right to do and make a change and a difference in your community. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and there'll be more days I will be out here. And I love y'all. Thank you guys for watching Melanie Riverside Cemetery BT. Love y'all. Bye for now.